like every pageant, everything that you see here, which unbelievably kids took 55 minutes and it took us 3 hours to do it yesterday at practice. I don't know how that happens, but this doesn't happen without quite a few people that are with us along the way. And first and foremost, we want to give our praise and our glory to God for being with us and for being our light. For every practice for the last 10 weeks, every Saturday and Sunday rehearsal that these children came to. And the parents that are out there, could you please give it up for these parents, because they brought their hair every rehearsal. With the use of media, I normally give these names out, and I'm trying to find where they are. So if you just look up here, the first thanks we'd like to give is to our Living Lord congregation for their prayers and their support for the last 10 weeks. This starts in late August or September with Mary Ellen going through myriad programs and getting together with the committee the last weekend in September, and she said, hey, what do you think of this one? And this one was a little unique. We love the story, but it didn't have enough songs. So she went back in the Christmas pageant archives and picked a few songs out. The hardest working woman of the show, Mrs. Mary Ellen Ritchie. And we couldn't do this without a rockin' band, so we have Chris Wall back on the drums, and Bob Esmail on guitar, and Ryan Esmail's back there on bass. And to start the show this year, and then during offering, thanks to Pete and Jay and Dan and Brad for the awesome job they did with the brass quartet. We also need to put a plug in here for Jay, because Jay kept the heat on for every time we were here to practice. So Jay, thank you very much for doing that. And now we get into the next group here. Mr. Matt Fitzgibbon, sitting right in the row here, who is director for all speakers. And Jennifer Bowen-Shaw, who did an outstanding job with all the costumes. And Mary Myers this year that said, you know, if somebody else wants to do something, and I'm just going to stay in the background. And I think this was the hardest year Mary ever worked, because she did everything. That's why it says Jack of all trades. So Mary, thank you. And then you see these T-shirts. We have them every year. Well, somebody's got to coordinate that. So our thanks to Heather Reardon and Christy Molidor. They also did attendance every week. And Stephanie Stecker, she kept saying, is there anything I can do? I said, well, we'd like to put this up here. I got it. Took the pictures, had it all ready to go yesterday. So for these three people, please give it up. And then every year there's an ornament that goes home with every child. And this year, Darius Smith and Stephanie McKinley did such a beautiful job with that. Thank you very much. And back there in the sound booth, Mr. Don Leishman and Mike Smith. What a great job. Thank you, gentlemen. And the program that you all have had to be done by somebody, so Kelly Lovewell stepped up and she took that on. Kelly, thank you very much. And the backdrop over here for the biggest, brightest, greatest Christmas, and the one up here, Tiffany Reilly. Let's thank Tiffany. And this year, we had an outstanding crew that came in on Thursday that put this whole thing together, got it down out of storage. So seated here, but I want to make sure I name them, Mr. Ralph Stecker, Al Emso. Al also got us some extra cords and some mic clips. We also had Daniel Ricci and Frank Myers, who really was the brainchild of this whole thing some years ago. In the back row, these are just young men that came to help us. Dan Danick, Ben Schwartz, who also did the spotlight up there, and Jason DeBow, who was one of our rappers and singers, so please give them a hand. And here's a little shot. This was probably 2 hours of what went on before we actually got this thing up.
Oh, and we cannot forget Mr. Steve for conducting us every single week. Thank you very much.
And the last couple of things you're going to see up here, these are the kids from an Unplugged Christmas. These are some funny faces from the kids from the Unplugged Christmas. But if you go to this next one, we encourage you. It's not just the Christmas pageant pictures that you're going to see there. We have a wonderful interactive site. The address is up here. Learn more about us if you're visiting here. We happen to think we have a pretty great church with pretty great people. And if you're interested, please take an opportunity to go to our website and learn more about Living Lord. And our last message, we wish you and your loved ones a very blessed Christmas, a happy and healthy New Year, and we are going to finish off with Sing Noel Strong one more time. Thank you very much for being here today.
As is also now the tradition with these Christmas pageants, we've gotten together to get a little gift for the Ricci's for all of their hard work. Mark 9 tells us, he took a little child whom he placed among them. Taking the child in his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one of these little children in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but the one who sent me." Clearly, the Ricci's do this throughout this 10 weeks and much before and much after. So, for you guys, for you. And Janice, or rather Jennifer and I, also got you some brownies for later.